Okay, we're going to re-adjourn the,
She needs to read.
what are we reading? Oh, she's reading the
The
title.
title.
Yeah, I can do that.
It's regular, continuation of the regular meeting and public hearing being held with the Town Commission, Town of Gulfstream on Friday, September 10th, 2021, which began at 4 p.m. in the William F. Cook Jr. Commission Chambers of Town Hall, 100 Sea Road, Gulfstream, Florida.
Okay, we're going to re-adjourn the meeting, the regular commission meeting. It's 5:28. We are now on communication from the public, 3-minute maximum. Anybody from the public wish to speak?
That's too long.
Mr. Ganger?
Just for the record, you all did a great job on the gentleman who wanted to
The trade?
keep it straight. I also urge you to be reasonable. Oops, sorry. It's going red saying, don't speak. That was a complex subject. And some truth and some non-truth was interspersed. But the fact is that I really hope you can work out something that's fair and reasonable for him. Pretty expensive to put in a expensive tree, and clearly you're gonna have to figure out where to put it. But this is an example of a small town taking itself seriously and watching what people are doing. And I commend you all for taking the time and making the effort to be fair. And I hope you keep it up, because clearly if it turns out to be 24 feet instead of 25, you know, I don't think too many people are gonna notice. But I also believe that we're one of the few towns in America that would take something like this as seriously as you've taken it, and to really try and get something that's fair, equitable, and desirable, because that's a beautiful street, and it's going to make it even more beautiful when you finally figure out what to do.
We will.
Greg.
Thank
Great, thanks, Bob. Reports from the town manager, item 9.
Okay, the first one, of course, is our regular one. So I'll report to you on that. Comcast called in locates, they have to, by DOT for this stretch of conduit that they have to put in over here on A1A on August 27th. And the company that does that, it's called USIC. They do locates for FPNL, AT&T, and Comcast, and they just started them today. They'll be done today. So with that, so now Comcast can move on. They will, put the conduit in, and then they have to give the DOT 48 hours. Well, I'm sorry, that Comcast won't start today. The other ones, the flagging of the locates, will be doing that today. So then Comcast has to give the DOT 48 hours before they can start digging. And so they'll do that on Wednesday, and it'll take 1 day. And then they will be able to pull their conduit through that and splice that to all of the big 4001 and those over there on the east side of A1A. And so then they have work to do, they splice that, and then there's some, not quite sure, they have to make sure everything works, but what I'm hoping is that also what happened this week is that myself and Anthony met with FPNL out here. It was nice and warm out here on A1A, but we confirmed where all the new streetlights are going to go. Because FPNL is ready to go. So we confirmed, and we had to kind of make some adjustments out in the field, but that they'll have to run those by DOT, but that won't take long. But so they're going to be ready to start putting in the new street lights mid-October, and they have to put them in before they take the old ones out, obviously, because the DOT won't let them not have
Right,
lights.
the old overheads are coming out.
Right.
Okay.
So what I'm really pushing for is that for Comcast to be done around mid-October, wrecking all their equipment that are on the poles now. And so FP&L, can go ahead and put in the new poles and start taking the old ones out. So that's,
So what's your estimate day to take down?
oh God, you're asking me that question
I am in public too.
in public. It's
Forever moving target based on the speed of our slowest contractor.
that answer.
Good answer.
So for FPL, we're still waiting for Comcast, which had to do a new install for part of the system up here.
Right.
Then they've got to wreck all their stuff off of
Now they've wrecked
most of it.
some of it. Yeah. So they've already done some of that.
So does FPL need like 60 days to mobilize on taking these poles down? Give or
Well,
take.
what's today? Today's the 10th of October. Well, no, I
Today's
mean,
the 10th of September, yeah.
yeah, so they're shooting for a mid-October for putting the new poles in. And if Comcast is out, then they can start removing poles.
Okay. But so we're in pretty good communication with FPL now.
Oh,
with the
God,
rep.
yeah, every day.
Okay, so they're pretty responsive at this point.
Yes,
Okay.
and I want to stay in front of them so they
Right.
don't cause a problem.
Yeah, we're hopefully,
Yeah.
knock on wood, we'll get out storm season. They won't be delayed and they'll be ready to
Right.
go when you call.
Right.
Okay.
So that's that.
Okay.
So we are, and we mentioned it earlier, we're doing the RFQ, the request for qualifications on an engineer for our design and planning for our CIP program. And so Mr. Nazaro, I think, is done with that request for qualifications, and we're going to be publishing that on the 19th. And that's, it's about a 2 to 3 month process.
Mhm.
So we have 6 water meters left to be changed out. That'll probably be done next week. On the leaf blowers, what I'm going to be doing is contacting Mr. Shubin, who had, cities, not in Palm Beach County, but south of us, that have these ordinances. They have more than we do in here in Palm Beach County. And so I want to contact them to find out, under what circumstances they changed, and they prohibited the gas blowers.
Right.
And just what were the circumstances, and how long have you had the new one, and what kind of impact has that had on people that work, do that
Monster.
Yeah,
work.
contractors,
Right.
yeah.
So that's, and I'm hoping to, come back in October and have some more information about that. So now, and then I also mentioned the motorcycle scooter sales company has applied to Delray for a zoning text amendment to allow that kind of sales on federal highway. It's just north of Gunther, right?
Just north of Gunther, backs up into Place Au Soleil, so
Yeah,
fronts on.
So what we've done is we've contacted Mr. Snavely, who I guess did a quick overnight.
Who has circulated that
Yeah,
to the residents over there. We've already got some responses.
and we don't think there's going to be a whole lot of support for that. Mr. Nazaro has also talked to the planner that from Delray Beach, and we have a telephone conference set up, I think, for Wednesday with Delray Beach.
So it's just a text amendment, but is there any preliminary site plan submitted or anything?
Well,
So they,
Elevations?
right, so we're not really sure where they are in the process. I think
it goes
that
through.
this is a built out parcel. So there's general commercial, and they want to modify to include motorcycle sales as a conditional use, and the conditions that they're putting in would actually greatly impact the town of Gulfstream. Parcel can't be larger than 1.5 acres. All the parcels, now that sort of triangular parcel immediately west of Place Au Soleil has actually been subdivided into a number of small parcels. So those would all be applicable here. Parcel must be east of North Federal Highway, so that obviously impacts us, and it must be north of George Bush Boulevard. So they're constraining it so where it has the least amount of impact on the city, but the most amount of impact on our residents. So we're going to try to work with them and obviously having the city commission not pass the text amendment. But if they were in favor of it, put some sort of, decibel or displacement limit on what sort of motorcycles could be sold in the general commercial. Now, I don't think that, we're certainly going to take the position that's wholly inappropriate to include motorcycle sales in the general commercial zoning district. But, they're selling it to Delray in such a way that it's going to be with all the car dealers, and that's probably how they're going to put their argument forward is, well, you just got a bunch of car dealerships up there.
Right.
East of Federal, north of George Bush, only on the east side. I mean, it's really not going to impact you guys that much. And that's where it's going to impact
Yeah.
us the most.
Motorcycles
Exactly.
are considerably more noisy.
Yeah,
than-
and so, I mean, we talked to this planner, or who did we talk to? Anyway, about whether, the applicant, about, whether they were going to be doing any servicing of motorcycles there. And she said, no.
Yeah, it would just be sales, but I mean, still you're having, where are they going to be test driving it? They're going to be
Well, they said they would be on
they're going to be
Federal.
turning right on Federal.
Yeah,
and They're going to be
Federal.
driving right by.
Where are they servicing them?
I think it's just sales.
Yeah,
So it would
it's
be
just
sales,
sales.
but
Just a
not,
little sales.
So they don't
Correct.
have a maintenance.
it's just a very small parcel
So,
with just like a little storefront. So would be only just limited.
So where are we in the timeline with that between now and the next commission meeting, which is October 8th?
We have no idea where that is in the process. The applicant reached out to us, actually came by physically this week and said,
Okay.
hey, this is what's going on. So this is literally just, that's why it's added to the
Okay.
town manager's comment at the meeting, because this happened after the agenda even came out. So we'll certainly update the commission and keep Ms. White and everyone in place also updated. A resident has already reached out to me and said, oh, I live on, I think you said Orchid,
Mhm.
or maybe Tangerine,
Tangerine,
which, Tangerine backs up over
Backs
there.
up in the back.
And certainly, I told him what the plan was, and so we're in contact with our residents over there to help address this.
Okay.
I think until that something's done with that property, but first it was Volvo, but that vacant property, it's gonna keep being a problem.
but that's all that I have.
Okay, so that concludes the town manager's comments. We've got the actual architecture review and planning board meeting dates, November and December are TBD. We did do the budget meeting, but finance director, finance report for August 2021, any changes or anything that we need to know about?
No, not really. Just 2 points that Rebecca already put in the report. Revenues for fiscal year 2021 will continue to be received through the month of November. That happens every year.
Yep.
And then I wanted to report to you that our water bills from Delray Beach this past month actually went down. So I'm
Right.
hoping that our little notes to people about watering
Good.
is helping.
Police chief,
Request that the report be accepted as submitted, no additions.
all right, thanks, chief. We already read this and did the first reading of this motion, which is item 10, the previous portion of the meeting before we temporarily adjourned. Items by mayor and commissioners, anything else? Okay, the meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With the new water meters, you can tell when people's water is going crazy too, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Because